Hi everybody, Dana Litwin here again with more Tuesday tips for leaders of volunteers, and kind of picking up from last week's theme, talking about how to be a great leader of volunteers. So last week in the Tuesday tips, I gave a little preview from a full-length webinar, but really how to figure out your own leadership style. So if you've started to think about that and you've started to figure out where you are in your leadership style, hopefully it's not too bureaucratic or autocratic as a micromanager. But if you're in one of the other leadership styles that's mostly effective or sometimes effective, here's how to be even more effective as a leader of volunteers. Great leaders in any sector delegate and trust the expertise of their team. This works not just in nonprofits, not just in volunteer engagement, this works everywhere. So know when to delegate and let go of things and not be a bottleneck where projects or progress gets stuck because you feel like you have to check everyone's homework and review everything or micromanage everything. So I'm inviting you, if you found that that's your default habit, and that's an easy habit to pick up. There can be a lot of pressure as a leader of volunteers, especially if you are a department of one. There can be internal and external pressure to feel like because you're just one person, you have to know everything, you have to check everything, but it's actually better in the long run and helps your career and really helps the whole team trust each other when you show that you can delegate a certain amount of work to volunteers or other paid staff members who have the bandwidth to handle it, or it's closer to their expertise than it is to yours. So really delegation and trust are keys to being a great leader. Well, how do you do this if you're not in that habit? Take about 15, maybe 20 minutes, but usually 15 is enough, and just start a little list of what is essential for you to do, either a core essential function of your role, or only you have access, like computer access, IT security, or you know that you are the absolute expert on it, so you definitely want to do it yourself. Now, make that list of what's essential for you to do, and then put another column and make a list of, well, what's everything else on your plate, and how can you hand that off and delegate it to someone who has the time and or even more expertise than you do in that specific topic or subject or issue or task that can be given to them, so that they're supported, they have enough resources to do it, but you can, circle back and not get in the way of someone else doing the work, so that multiple projects can be going on in parallel and be more efficient towards the agency's goals in general. Now, another tip around delegating is trust. Trust is the currency of volunteer engagement. So when you trust others to get something done and they know that they can come to you with support, but you're not hovering over their shoulder checking their homework and not micromanaging, then that builds a positive, really more positive culture for the entire team, or can spread to the entire agency when you begin to build trust in other people's expertise and relationships. So the key to this is balance, not being the boss that just, is golfing or vacationing or watching cat videos all day and everybody else does your work for you. It's like, no, of course we're not talking about that degree. That goes over into bad boss territory, almost laissez-faire, like too much delegation. But there is a balance of what's something that can be super helpful to you or other members of the team that can be done by a special project volunteer, either putting the call out to your current talent pool or forming a special project, special recruitment to get someone with the exact expertise and knowledge and skills to take on leading a project or doing a piece of research. And also on the list, kind of notate, is this the kind of work or task that has to be done on site with your organization if you are doing some in-person work, or can it be done kind of remotely on someone else's time and they set the schedule around due dates or deliverables or milestones or goals? So it's really on you as a great leader to set up a support structure, perhaps even help draft, a timeline document, but really delegate, and trust the experts on your team, the experts among your volunteer talent pool to take on some tasks for you, and then set up a very clear, communication and support versus micromanaging or checking homework, but just make sure that they know that they can come to you if they do have questions, if they run into a roadblock with another department or a procedure or a staff person, or they just need a quick answer to a question. They can always come back to you for those kind of answers, but that they're really entrusted and empowered to do this work. And it could be any variety of things. It could be something where it's data entry and someone really likes doing that and just zoning out and getting into a Zen space with music, but it gives back some of your time to do more leadership things of making decisions, thinking of strategies, thinking about volunteer engagement, seeing the bigger picture of your volunteer and community programs. So we want to free up your time as a leader as much as possible to kind of make these bigger decisions, even if you're lower management or middle management. It's just a better use of your time as a leader of volunteers. So I'm going to link a couple of other videos I've done, other past Tuesday tips that talk about time management, and also just advocating and making the case if it gets to a point where you realize that, yeah, I actually need another part-time or full-time person in my department to do this, or we need more resources like getting a volunteer computer station or internet connections, things like that at people's houses to help support delegating this work in a more efficient way. So we always want to work smarter because we're already working hard. So learning how to be a great leader with delegation and trust, working smarter and not harder for this week's Tuesday tips. I hope you have a great week. Check back next week with more Tuesday tips. And of course, if you're not yet subscribed, please do that. Hit the little bell icon to be alerted when I upload new videos, again, at least every week. And like this video and share it with your colleagues and friends. Take care.